So today I'm on the Sony 28mm f2 with a Tiffen 1/4 this time, Black Pro Mist, and with the help of a step-up ring, a Polarizer filter to help ND it up. Try to get that shutter speed down, but I want to vlog on wide apertures, so it's still like shutter speed 1/1,000,000, which by the way I think is fine. A lot of people say you shouldn't film on anything except the 180-degree shutter rule, but I don't know, I've got a little story for you about that. Like, a lot of people learn one thing and then proceed to beat you on the head with it. I'll tell you a little story, quick story about shutter speed. I think I was doing one of my first weddings, it was about 6 years ago, and hired an assistant or a second shooter, and the wedding is over and we walked outside and it's bright as hell, sun is just blazing everywhere, my camera's maxed out, but back then I think I had the C100, I think it was the C100, I can't remember now, but it had ND filters. So, like, you know, a couple of notches down and I'm good to go. Still shooting wide open though. And my second shooter, she didn't have any ND filters or polarized filters. So I went up to her after the shoot, you know, just after they walked out of the church. And I looked at the back of the camera. You know, I looked at the settings, it's wide open. There's no NDs, and it's like 1 on 8,000 I think it was, to try to compensate for that. And me being a noob, like a bit of a dickhead, I've gone, okay, maybe we'll get you some ND filters, yeah? Thinking, you know, and everyone does it. But then, you know what happened? I'm in the editing suite, and I remembered that shot. After they walk out of the church is when you throw flower petals, right? Mine looked okay. It looked like you'd expect it to look. Nothing special. Not very sexy background or anything. The C100 was a crop sensor. Everything was in focus. It was a good shot, I thought. But then I checked hers, and it was just getting beautiful. It was well exposed, and because of the high shutter speed, like the flower petals were like frozen in time, like beautiful. I mean, you could argue that was stop motion-ish, but no, on that shot, looked perfect. I felt like such a dick. I felt like calling her up going, hey, you know how I came and did the typical cameraman thing to you? Cameraman. The typical cameraman thing. I went out and said, oh, I'll get you some ND filters. Yeah. I wasn't wrong, but I wish I never said anything, because it just made me look like a fool. And a lot of the times on the internet I do think the same about other people. Like, they learn one thing and then proceed to bash you over the head with it. And the more you learn, the more you realize it's not always important, but it is sometimes important. Like, I've been doing interview setups and I've been a bit lazy, and you can't change too much in an interview setup. If you want to blur out the background a bit, you're going to need it. And a couple of times all I had in my bag was the polarized filter, and I couldn't increase the shutter speed because then the lights would flicker. So then I was missing my C100, C200. I was on the Sony then. So I just had to stop it down. Oh, I remember why I brought this up, actually. I made a comment on YouTube. Do you ever make like comments just to start shit? No, I don't, ever. But I made this one comment on a guy's YouTube. He was testing, I think, a Blackmagic versus something else. And to get the right lighting, I think he had to stop down to like F11, I think it was. And that's when I remembered my friend from the wedding. I wrote, you know, you can crank the shutter speed a little bit. No one will think lesser of you. And oh, it must have really pissed him off. Because he goes, oh my friend, listen here my friend, you know, obviously you can't see, you need help seeing, and here's a link explaining why you need the 180-degree shutter rule. You can understand why I thought that was funny. Come on. So yeah, to recap, just in case I haven't said it already, I've taken the big heavy 24-105 off, and now I'm just working on the 28mm f2. It's still a little bit heavy, but it's better. And what adds to the weight is my microphone as well, and the step-up rings, and the Tiffen Black Pro Mist, and all that business. Okay, let's get these people in the shot. Ready? You're on. Fitness. Cheers, guys. That's my local fitness park. You make sure they're famous. There they are. So yeah, put it back out here so it's not too close. So it's a bit harder to vlog on this one because it's 28mm, not 24. So I'm a bit closer. So I have to like stretch my arms out to get me in the shot. I think that's all that needs to be said about today. Do you think the 1/4 helps the skin tone? Even it out, I mean, not the tone, even out the wrinkles. Do we like these vlogs? These vlogs, these vlogs. I will do more as I get more gear. I think I'll make a habit of that now. And I'm gonna post it. Whether people watch it or not. Do you like it? One of my colleagues said there was too many chins in the last one. How's that? Is that the right amount of chins? I think if you hold it up higher, it looks better. So it's pretty much my wedding setup, I guess. But the only thing I've added then is the Tiffen filter and the Polarizer, and I don't use it in weddings. Like I said before, I just using that last example. It's too much fiddling around, you know. I think one time I put the polarizing filter on and I forgot to take it off. So I'm in the reception, I'm going, why is it so dark? What am I cranking this? Why are my settings all cranked to the max? And I had left it on. And I think since that day I've just learnt to film all my events without it. And come on, you tell me, not every shot has a car going past or a bike. Oh, you can see it stepping. Oh, come on. But if I had a built-in ND wheel, then sure, I think I'd use that rather than my auto exposure and cranking the shutter. So yeah, it's Sony a7iii, 28mm f2, Tiffen Black Pro Mist, about 1/4 this time, and it's not going to vignette because I've stepped up from, I think it's, what's the millimeters on this? I think it's 49. Yeah, I think it's 49. So I've gone from a 49 up to a 72. And the reason is I can't find my smaller Tiffen filters. I've had them so long they were in the bottom of the bag. So it's 49 to 72mm step up ring. And kind of, because that's so wide, like as in diameter wide, you can't see it vignette in the corners of the shot. Down the side of my house. So this really is like a wedding setup for me. I don't use S-Log, not on these 8-bit cameras. So I've set up Cine 2, which is a very forgiving profile. You can go as low as ISO 100, softer curve. It changes the colors a little bit. My favorite colors are just turning the picture profiles off and leaving it on the neutral setting. I think it's neutral. You know what? It's standard. I like the standard setting. It's better for skin tones for me. The reds are nicer. So this is a good halfway medium between, say, shooting really flat and turning picture profiles off. And that is my favorite, Cine 2. which I think I mapped to picture profile 5. Nothing else really changed, I don't think. Well, that's all for today. Hope you enjoy. See you on the next one.